the tribal chief Roman Reigns is set to make his return to television for the first time since WrestleMania. But what if he didn't? Now, does this conflict with a storyline that I just proposed for Baron Corbin? And are we going to find out that this isn't going to happen as soon as this Friday? Well, yes, but that's because this is not a prediction. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, or even that I want it to happen. This is just me spitballing ideas and seeing where our creative minds can take us. And I think right now is a really good time to remember just how important creative writing is to our entertainment. Because today... Thank you to all the wonderful supporters out there who support me over on Patreon, like True Sinister and The Reflection of Perfection. To find out how to get your own Patreon shout out, please go over and check out my Patreon page. With it finally being announced that Roman Reigns is returning to TV for the first time since WrestleMania on Friday's SmackDown, many people are anticipating that this is going to be the beginning of the next chapter of the Bloodline, and that's exactly what we're going to use it for here today. Come Friday, everybody's built with anticipation, waiting to see Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, finally make his comeback. But as the night goes on, we still don't see the Tribal Chief anywhere. And then at the close of the show, we're waiting and still nothing. This begins sounding the alarm as Paul Heyman is demanding that somebody find out where Roman Reigns is, and this will continue for the next several shows. And we also take the time to remind the audience that both Jimmy and Jay have said that they haven't heard from Roman ever since WrestleMania, when they dropped the tag straps to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This is beginning to raise suspicion as Paul Heyman is starting to wonder whether or not the Usos had something to do with this. Meanwhile, other suspects get thrown into the mix too, such as Gunther, who eventually reveals that he would never attack Roman behind his back as he wants to face the Tribal Chief one-on-one face-to-face in a big arena, and that Gunther is no coward. We could also get other candidates too, like Brock Lesnar, who easily have a grudge to settle with Roman. And speaking of which, we could also throw Cody Rhodes into the mix as well. Plus, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens too, but that's a given. The remaining members of the Bloodline all have their micro feuds against these candidates, as well as a little infighting too, as the Usos are also suspects. But regardless as to who wins any of these mini feuds, it's revealed one by one that none of them have done it. This then leads to another suspect, a wrestler who is now the newly crowned World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, as their history is well documented. This turns into a feud between Solo and Seth that ultimately leads to Solo Sikoa getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship against Rollins, as now everyone is convinced that the Architect is the one who's behind everything. And during the title match, fueled by anger, Solo seems to have the advantage and is just about to win and become the new champion when all of a sudden, we get a return of Roman Reigns, who interferes in the match and goes directly against Solo, beating him pillar to post and the match being ruled a no contest, as it's later revealed that the ones who got rid of Roman was actually Solo and Heyman, as it was really their plot to take over the Bloodline and get Solo a world title. And we find out that all the orders that Paul Heyman has been receiving over the phone have all been faked, and the motive behind this is that Solo and Heyman realize that they're the true leaders of the Bloodline, as Roman needs them more than the other way around, especially considering that Roman wasn't capable of beating Cody without Solo's help. And so, after a heated argument with the Tribal Chief where Solo demanded one of the two titles, the Enforcer attacked the leader of the Bloodline and Heyman covered up the tracks. And ever since, Roman was held captive, unable to escape, until it was Seth Rollins who found him, as after being accused, he went out of his way to clear his name and he found out what really happened to the Tribal Chief. Rollins explains that while he may have done a lot of dastardly things throughout his lifetime, he hates being accused of doing something that he really didn't do, and that when it comes to Roman Reigns, the two of them are always going to have a connection, like it or not, because while they may not be blood, they are still brothers. Okay, as I often say, booking is all about creative problem solving and achieving objectives. And so, under this scenario, we find a way to deal with Roman Reigns' part-timer status by keeping him off of TV for a good long while. And this also keeps the belt on him for a bit, that way we can waste time until WrestleMania next year. And at the same time, with the convenient reintroduction of the World Heavyweight Championship, this gives us another world title while Roman's missing in action. Plus, this also elevates Solo Sikoa as a main eventer and gives Seth Rollins a storyline for his championship right off the bat. Therefore, we achieve many objectives all in one storyline. Well, there you go, my pitch for a storyline involving Roman Reigns. What did you think? Do you like the Baron Corbin one better, or do you have another idea? Or are there any tweaks you want to do to this one? Let me know down in the comments, and please give this video a like and make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. And I want to give a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and thank you for watching. And as always, Dave knows.